Okay, let's dive into this one because, wow, what started as, well, a seemingly pretty harmless TikTok video has really sparked something much bigger, hasn't it?
It really has. It's fascinating how a simple online post can suddenly touch on these big themes: family, adoption, even what basic terms actually mean.
Exactly. We're looking at the whole social media buzz around Obi Cubana, the businessman, and Chidi, who is his adopted son.
Right.
And it all kicked off with Chidi posting a TikTok. The caption was something like, "Feeling good, just realized I might be next of kin." Sounds like, maybe just joining a trend.
Yeah, it definitely has that vibe, like someone just making a bit of fun content, probably not expecting it to blow up the way it did.
Well, it certainly did blow up because Obi Cubana responded, but on Instagram he posted a picture, but with his biological son, Alex. And the caption was very direct. At DTwatWalks, aka next of kin.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah, and Alex even commented something like, "Using my headphones right now," and Obi Cubana replied, "Correct, boy, original next of kin."
Original next to kin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very public, and it absolutely got people talking fast. So our mission today is really to unpack all of this. We've got the social media comments, news reports, even perspectives from people focused on family stuff.
Trying to understand what's really going on beneath the surface.
Exactly, especially around adoption and this whole next of kin idea in the Nigerian context.
It immediately makes you think about how we handle family things publicly now, especially online. What are the sort of rules?
Yeah, the unwritten rules. So, Cutie's post, Obi Cubana's response, we've got the captions, but the speed of it all, going from a quick TikTok to a national conversation, it's striking.
It really shows you the power of social media, doesn't it? How something potentially private just explodes into the public sphere, open to interpretation, judgment.
And the judgment came pretty quickly. The overwhelming reaction online seemed, critical of Obi Cubana's reply. People felt it wasn't needed, maybe humiliating for Chidi, and definitely something that should have been kept private.
Which speaks to, I think, a growing feeling that maybe we need a bit more care online, especially with family.
Sensitivity, yeah, even for public figures. We saw comments like one person at Abi's Walls wrote, "Unnecessary. He should have told the guy to delete on TikTok, then solved it internally instead of coming to post Shar."
Right, handle it behind closed doors.
And another at Gladys on Yedem said something like, "A child that was just doing a harmless video. Una don reason plenty things put." Una even days say, "Nah, adopted child, I thought that's his brother's child." Just questioning the whole reaction.
Those comments really show the concern people felt for Chidi.
Yeah.
For his feelings. Whatever the intention was, the perception was potentially damaging.
For sure. And it wasn't just random users. Solomon Bucci, he's a pretty well-known commentator.
I know who you mean.
He had some strong words. Called Obi Cubana's actions irresponsible and crass. He really focused on the public reminder of Chidi's adoption status being unkind.
And Bucci's point aligns with how many people think about adoption now, right?
Yeah.
That adopted kids should have absolutely everything a biological child does.
Yeah.
Same rights, same respect.
Exactly. The bond is the bond. Bucci basically said Obi Cubana could have just asked Chidi privately to take the video down.
A simple conversation.
Yeah. Bucci's quote was powerful, something like, "Don't adopt children if you will not see and treat them like your blood."
That really cuts to the chase.
Yeah.
Adoption is a huge commitment. It's building a family and drawing those public lines. It can feel like it undermines the whole thing.
Then there was Radio Gad, another media person who weighed in.
Okay.
He questioned the love, asking directly, "If you never loved him like a son, why did you adopt him?" Pretty blunt.
Yeah, that's pointed. It challenges the whole basis, asking about the core motivation. Is there a difference in how the children are viewed?
And Radio Gad also pushed the idea of equal rights, biological or adopted, but he also raised a really sensitive point.
What about that?
He suggested that Obi Cubana doing this publicly might make Chidi feel the absence of his biological parents more acutely. Like, it could stir up difficult emotions.
That's a really insightful and potentially painful consideration. Highlighting the adopted part publicly, especially like this, could definitely create insecurity or reopen old wounds.
So, with all this swirling around, how did Chidi react?
Good question. What did he do?
Well, he deleted the TikTok video, the original one.
Okay, took it down.
And he locked the comments on his TikTok account. Seems like a pretty clear sign he wanted to step back from the heat.
Yeah, that suggests he was definitely feeling the pressure, saw the controversy, and wanted out of the spotlight on it.
Interestingly, the only post left on his TikTok after that was apparently a clip from Obi Cubana's 50th birthday party. And on Instagram, he just posted an image No words, just a single pleading emoji caption.
Wow.
Yeah.
That emoji speaks volumes, doesn't it? Like, can we just move past this?
Yeah.
And attempt to smooth things over, maybe?
Feels like it. Now, okay, let's switch gears a bit and talk about the term itself. Next of kin. Because this is what started it all, but maybe we're all misunderstanding what it actually means legally.
This is crucial. The whole public debate seems loaded with assumptions about that term.
Right. And we have some insight here from Jane Agoye, who founded FabMum. She clarifies it.
Okay, good. What's the actual definition?
She explains that next of kin is primarily about emergencies. It's who gets called first if something happens to you.
The emergency contact.
Exactly. Or maybe who gives consent for, say, surgery if you can't. It's practical, immediate stuff.
Not about inheritance, then.
Not automatically, no, she's
Yeah.
very clear on that. Being next of kin doesn't give you any automatic right to someone's assets. That's all down to the will.
Or, if there's no will, the laws of intestacy. But it's separate from being the emergency contact.
Totally separate. You can name your next of kin in your will, of course, but it's not guaranteed just because you're the contact person.
That's a really, really important distinction. Seems like a lot of the online reaction might have missed that nuance.
Jane Agoye even said, regarding this specific case, there is an uproar. Because he is a billionaire, and many are already thinking about who will inherit his billions, people need to know better.
So the focus was immediately on the money, based on a misunderstanding of the term.
Seems like it. She summed it up. Next of kin needs to be old enough to make decisions in an emergency, sign papers, that kind of thing. And crucially,
Yes.
they don't even have to be a blood relative.
Okay, that really changes the perspective on the whole original next of kin comment, doesn't it?
It certainly adds another layer. Now, we also need to just briefly acknowledge the cultural context here.
Right, because that's definitely playing a role.
Some sources, like analysis from the Okiki app, they mention traditional views in Nigeria, particularly around family hierarchy, and historically biological ties often being prioritized for inheritance.
And that can clash sometimes with modern ideas about adoption, where the goal is usually complete equality within the family.
Yeah, it creates tension. We even saw one comment from someone called Ifinaya suggesting that sometimes in Igbo culture, what looks like adoption might actually be raising a relative's child, more informally, within the wider family.
Which adds complexity, because the expectations around informal care versus formal legal adoption can be quite different.
Absolutely. So wrapping this up, what have we seen? We've seen a TikTok post spiral into a huge online debate.
Yep, loads of different reactions to Obi Cubana's response. Chitty trying to step back.
And a really important clarification about what next of kin actually means legally versus how it was perhaps interpreted emotionally and culturally in this situation.
It really boils down to that clash. A casual social media post,
Right.
a very public statement about biology, and the potential emotional impact on an adopted son, all amplified like crazy online.
Exactly. Which leads us to a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. What does this whole incident tell us about adoption today, about how families navigate the public square of social media?
And what weight do we give public statements versus sorting things out privately within a family?
What assumptions are we carrying around about rights and expectations in adoptive families, and how are those ideas changing in this super connected online world? Definitely something to think about.